My mom saved the newspaper article and sent it to me.
She did?
My mom, did anyone else have a mom who would do this? She'd be like, I thought you'd be interested. And she would just clip out anything from like the local news day and send it to me. Like, because they didn't have email back in the 90s. So that was email. My mom would cut it out of the
but you had to use your college library to use it. Like they just got Hotmail at that time. Instead of an EDU, you had Hotmail.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you remember ASL when you would be in the chat rooms?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Age, sex, location.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know. It's probably was just a bunch of old dudes on the other end. 16
I always thought it stood for
female.
Asian Sign Language. I was like, I don't know American Sign Language.
I would get that.
American Sign Language. You just went straight to Asian Sign Language.
Because it's AS, and then my brain would finish the word.
It's really hard to make all those symbols that they use if you had AOL and because it wasn't like sometimes it was in you when you're in the chat room, but other times they would just see your name somewhere, like if you were in a chat room, and they would just DM you.
Yeah.
Right. So a little instant messenger window would pop up that wasn't in the chat, and they would say, "Hi, what's going on, ASL?" And I always used to go male 35, and then they disappear. Oh well,
male 35, honest. Quantico. Like, okay, we got to go.
Was AOL still male around when I was 35?
Right outside your window.
AOL's been long gone. Yeah, it's been long gone. But yeah, when you're in college, you're like 19, 20, it's just some pervy guys. Just clicking on, hey, what's going on? You just go, male 35, boom, they go away. They don't bother you anymore.
Well, and you know that there were a bunch of young teen girls on there, too. So these guys were 100%.
Yeah, I'm sure there were.
I was like 14, and I'm like, hee hee hee.
You were like one of the real
Maybe
people,
13.
and everyone else were like those people who were pretending to be people, like the Let's Catch a Predator people before Let's Catch a Predator was a thing. That was like a big deal. I watched a documentary on it, and like people were going into the chat rooms in like 95, 96 and catching all these like pedophiles on like AOL and Prodigy and like
Tom from Alberta and this ICQ. Did you have the ICQ too?
No, what's that?
It was a chat thing, but it was also a file transfer program. So people it was sort of in between Napster becoming a thing and like AOL Instant Messenger and all that. But you had this little sidebar program where you could chat, but then you could also transfer files to people. So people would post like their music lists, and they're like, oh, I'll give you this album if you give me that album. So you would make that folder available for people to download. Like if you left your computer on while you slept and you came back in the morning, you would see all the download receipts from people taking the files that you put out there and whatever you were doing. It was very text based. Like there wasn't a lot of graphic anything with it. It was just text transfer back and forth. Very basic, very simple. Then Napster, LimeWire, Kazaa, all that shit came around.
Because of LimeWire and stuff like that, that's how you'd share a lot of local music.
Right.
Problem is that a lot of our music got labeled as other bands, and people always thought that we were trying to be this other band. I was like, no, we are not trying to be this other band. Like the song got relabeled, and I ran into like some of those guys from those bands like a couple of years ago at a ska show. They're like, remember when everyone thought our songs were your songs and your songs were our songs? And they're like, yeah, why did you do that? I'm like, we didn't do it. Like people just kept fucking relabeling. Like he was still mad about it.
How many times did you see that bad and it was a radio parody song called the song Devil Went Down to Georgia, but it was like Devil Went Down to Jamaica, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I don't think
and it was about the devil going to the fucking islands and smoking pot and then forgetting how to play the fiddle and all that.
Banjo or something.
So you would see that thing show up all the fucking time, and it was labeled either Weird Al or Adam Sandler. And you go, neither one of these people made this song, but all the listings were insisting, like, nope, this is one of Weird Al's songs. Like, Weird Al doesn't sing about pot. Ever. Yeah. Ever.
That's not his voice.
No.
That's so weird. So people were just uploading it and they could label it as anything, and they would just mislabel shit all the time.
All the time. Like everything would be mislabeled, and you get tracks and like it would be a different person trying to be someone else. Sometimes it was just labeled incorrectly because the person who did it was an idiot. And then they finally came out with like that what was that CDDB software or whatever, so you'd put the CD in and would ID it and like give you all the track
it was putting that CD database, which was essentially just putting the MP3 the tags into your MP3 file so that it would recognize the coding, so you didn't have to sit there and load the title, the artist, the year, the album, all that. It just did it for you. But a lot of the times, so many people, it was an open source thing, almost like Wikipedia. You know, like you could just go in there and change everything around based on whatever the coding is and put whatever you want. So it's like, all right, this track is recognized by CDDB, but is it one of these 19 things? And you're like, I don't know. That was the whole point of me going to CDDB, to find out what the fucking song was.